When looking at a study conducted by Kinnett et al., which took 150 professional football players in the USA using the multi-stage fitness test, as this was the most accessible and available test Kinnett could use to record each football player, Kinnett found that the average relative VO2 max for professional football players was found to be 70.2. This suggests that the participant U underperformed in the multi-stage fitness test for his sport, as his relative VO2 max levels were a lot lower than the average US elite football player. When looking at participant U's results for his Queen's College step test, which he completes and had a 15-second heart rate of 27 beats per minute, we can see that his relative VO2 max came out to be 66.0. When comparing this to average VO2 max scores from the Queen's College step test, we can see for a regular male his results were scored as excellent, scoring VO2 max for a healthy male, as his results were above 51 to 55 range. This is supported by comparing his VO2 max scores to performers in the same sport competing at an elite level, which is League One in the English football leagues. From a study conducted by Chatterjee et al., we can see that it compares the relative reliability of the Queen's College step test compared to the gas analysis. The researcher took the results and, using a t-test, found that there was a significant statistical correlation of p equals 0.001. These results suggest that the Queen's College step test scores of the football players to be below 60.9. From these data results, it suggests that participant U has a very good level of relative VO2 max, as his is 66, which is higher than the average player in the League One of the English Football League. When looking at the strengths and weaknesses of the participants' results for the multi-stage fitness test and the Queen's College step test, we can see that the Queen's College step test participant U had very good levels of relative VO2 max, as it was than the average League One football player. On the other hand, participant U's results for the multi-stage fitness test are a lot lower than the average American football player. This could mean that in the multi-stage fitness test, either the participant opted to pull out earlier than he could have done, or that his muscles were more adapted to the Queen's College step test. Queen's College step test and weren't adapted to the multi-stage fitness test. Assuming the latter, participant U should try to improve his cardiovascular endurance by doing exercises that lower the heart rate and will allow you to take in more oxygen, allowing you to run for a longer period of time. He should also try to work on more long-distance running training techniques, like fartlek training, for example. Discussion. When comparing both sets of data using the multi-stage fitness test and the Queen's College step test, we can see that the Queen's College step test results have much higher VO2 max than the VO2 max results on the multi-stage fitness test. This is because the multi-stage fitness test allows the participants to drop out at any time, whereas the Queen's College step test makes the participant do the whole 3 minutes. When taking the results of both of the second set of data for the multi-stage fitness test and the Queen's College step test, we can see that there is a p-value of 0.602. This suggests that there is a strong correlation between the VO2 max recording of the multi-stage fitness test and the Queen's College step test. This could be because both they both require the participants to exert the same amount of VO2 max. There is also a mean difference of 13.47. This suggests that there is a clear difference in the VO2 max scores. When looking at Chatterjee's study, which suggests that the VO2 max results for the Queen's College STEP test are a lot more reliable than the multi-stage fitness test, and it was even compared to the gas analysis, the Queen's College STEP test is superior because it is more accessible and easier to set up, so is more valid and precise way of measuring the participants' VO2 max levels. This is suggested by Chatterjee results having a p-value of 0.001, showing that there is no significant difference between the gas analysis and the Queen's College STEP test, which suggests that it is more accurate than the multi-stage fitness test. The Queen's College STEP test is comparable to the gold standard as the Queen's College STEP test is comparable to the gold standard test. Looking at these results, it suggests that the Queen's College STEP test is more suitable out of the two indirect tests, as it was as accurate and precise as the gas analysis, which is considered to be the gold standard test. The Queen's College STEP test is also a lot easier to carry out, as it is a sub-maximal test. The multi-stage fitness test is a maximal test, which means more people are less willing to participate fully, as it's a lot more effort required. Also, when looking at the study conducted by Shamsi et al., it was found that the cycle ergometer test, which is also considered to be a direct way of measuring the VO2 max, has no difference compared to the Queen's College STEP test, as there was a significant difference with a p-value which was greater than 0.05 of VO2 max levels from the two tests. This suggests that the Queen's College STEP test is the better way of finding the relative VO2 max of an athlete, as it requires less equipment and facilities while still being as accurate and reliable as the gold standard test of the gas analysis and psycho ergometer. However, the disadvantages to the multi-stage fitness test is that the test can be done with a large group of people, which means that the research will be quickly collected and you don't have to perform the test multiple times for different participants. Another advantage is there is little equipment or technology needed to set up the test, just the bleep recording and cones to mark the 20 meters, whereas the gold standard gas analysis needs a treadmill, an oxygen mask and qualified researchers. It is also very game realistic, as it requires the participants to run for long periods of time, and there are many sports which require the athletes to be able to perform over long distances, for example football, basketball and rugby. The next advantage is that the multi-stage fitness test is very cheap test to set up compared to the gold standard gas analysis, as you don't need specialized equipment, unlike the gas analysis or cycle ergometer tests. So anyone can carry out the multi-stage fitness test. However, the negatives to the multi-stage fitness test are that the participant wouldn't be motivated to reach the maximal VO2 max, as they may pull out when they are getting slightly tired, or when most of the other participants start to pull out. This test can also be subjective, as the researcher watching the participants run may miss the participants not making it to the cone, which meant he would have a better result than he should. Another way it can be subjective is if the researcher didn't keep accurate count of which level they were on when they dropped out. The environment can also change the results. For example, if the test was conducted outside in the rain, it would make it a lot harder to run, as it would be muddy and slippery, meaning it would take them longer to run the 20 meters, resulting in a poorer score. The advantages to the Queen's College STEP test is there is very little equipment needed to set up the test, as all you will need is a step or stable chair, which is roughly 16.25 inches, and a step up recording to keep the participants in beat with the test. Due to the Queen's College STEP test only needing these two main bits of equipment, the cost to set this test up is very minimal compared to the gas analysis, which requires very expensive technology to carry out the test. This test also doesn't need a lot of time to carry it out. The test only lasts for 3 minutes. Even if you have several participants, it is not time consuming. It is very easy to set up the test and can be performed with limited researchers, unlike the gas analysis or cycle ergometer tests. You also don't have to be qualified to set the Queen's College STEP test, which means anyone can conduct the test. This is a benefit, as it means the test can be conducted in any environment. For example, it is viable to conduct it at a college, whereas the gas analysis requires someone to be trained in running the test and specialised equipment. However, the disadvantage to the Queen's College STEP test is that it's not very game realistic for many sports, as there aren't any times in games like football or rugby where you can constantly step up and down, compared to both the multi-stage fitness test and the gas analysis, which are both more game realistic, as they both require the participant to be running. Another disadvantage is that if there is a large group, then you would have to split the group into several little groups to allow everyone to be tested and recorded, and record each person's results whilst other people are waiting. Risk assessment. My informed consent for, and finally references.